Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. We have made it to the week, well, almost the weekend, which is wonderful. Good morning, Christine. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I am sorry for the lateness. So little backstory. I have not been sleeping well. Now, my wonderful primary care doctor who said, "Hey, maybe your underlying problem is pain," uh, gave me some medicine to help me sleep, and unfortunately, it helped me fall asleep at around 4 AM, which is when I usually wake up. So, all the fun stuff, all of the wonderful, like, dragging all the behind this morning, so I am sorry. But in important news, good morning, Squid Pro Quo and Cool Gamer. Celebrities are bringing back 80s hair. Now, I thought that we had put this particular, Hell's Gate underground. Buffy the Vampire Slayer had, conquered it. But I guess not. I guess the 80s are back. And dear God, why? I mean, now, y'all, I have no qualms because I'll buy more wigs, but oh my gosh. This is how we got a hole in the ozone layer, y'all. This is how we did it. I blame Whitesnake and the concerts. I really do. Totally without science and, you know, just conjecture. Celebrities are bringing back 80s hair. Here's why they love bouffants, mullets, shags, and more again. Good morning, Kim. I hope you are doing wonderful. Yeah, Fry is now massive, and the poor cat has forgotten that Fry now can get up on the bed, so he's like, why is for the dog up here? This is my bed." Good morning, Wolfram and Becca Lynn. They say the higher the hair, the closer to heaven, or at least the fashion gods. Teased bouffants, spiky mullets, and textured shags are just some of the totally radical 80s inspired do's that are popping up on the red carpets, runways, and beyond. Travis Speck, a senior stylist at a Soho salon, Sweet Caroline, told the Post that he's seeing, quote, so much big hair a la Patti Bell, Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, and even Kelly Ripa in her Dance Party USA days. Oh, Lord. Much like the coiffed hairstyles, we're about to see it go down. You didn't think you'd see a cat fry uh, beat down, but that's what we're going to see today on Friday. Thank you, Cool Gamer, for becoming a member. Fry is like, "It is my bed now. I am the captain." And Loki is like, "The hell you are. I was here first." Much like the coiffed hairstyles, quote, "The spirit of the 80s was big, loud, and expressive," said Speck, adding modern hairdos harken back to alternative styles worn by 80s eras bands like the Banshees and The Cure. Oh my God, if we get Flock of Seagulls haircuts back, I need those. I need all of The Cure and the Flock of Seagulls haircuts. I just need them for my life. While shaggy cuts like the wolf and butterfly cuts, marked by shorter layers and textured volumes, have been in vogue for the past year, celebrity stylist Jerome Lordet predicts a widespread 80s comeback. Again, I thought we had banished front pleated pants to the bowels of hell, but apparently not. Loki's like, "I will just use you as home base." None of you animals respect when I buy my favorite color stuff, which is black. Y'all just wanna put your hair. I need a black cat. I need a fully black cat because I need one more animal j just to match my outfits. Celebrity stylist Jerome Lordet predicts a widespread 80s revival. Miley Cyrus's hair at the Grammys. Yeah, what was this hairstyle of Miley Cyrus because that's not the '80s, that's Bride of Frankenstein. No, Mo isn't goth. Mo would just like to not spend, a bajillion dollars on lint traps or lint rollers. And since I am home base for every animal, it seems that Fry, if you bite Loki's tail, he is going to bite you back. And I am, look, if you, Loki's like, I am safe now. This is Fry. Seriously, stop trying to bite his tail. Becca Lynn, I need to get a bigger chair, but Fry likes to now since he's gotten to where he can sleep on the bed, he likes to sleep directly on my legs until my leg starts, spazzing out, and then he tries to bite it, to get it back in line, and I'm like, "No, Fry, I would if you biting it would cure it, I definitely let you attack my dingus leg, but, at this point, it doesn't help, and thank you, Jess Rubery, for gifting memberships. I need to put those up because, of course, I did not pull anything up because I was dragging all the behind today. So those went to Kim and Billy Marie and Pernella, Squid Pro Quo, Cindy J, and Atheist Ant. So congratulations, and let me write those down. You know, I love all of you. Could you guys also do my laundry? Just asking for a friend, Cats, since you want to get all of my clothes. Uh, sorry, I cannot, despite being a chick, my, multitasking things are terrible, especially, you know, you would think that they would make something that would help you fall asleep, but not make you feel weird the morning after, but no, that's too much for pharmaceutical companies. Fry, this is not going to end well. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, no, wrong button. No, this will not end well for Fry. Let's see. So I I don't know that this Miley Cyrus's hair was in the '80s. I mean, it looks like something that could have been from a Heart video, but it just looks more scary. Who knows? The Grammy winners red carpet ensemble of 14,000 gold safety pins and voluminous blowout brought the old school wow factor. No, it looks like, when you wanna buy chain mail, but you buy it from Wish, and so, like, what I thought I was getting versus what I actually got. Welcome to Dog Cat Fight Club, where Fry is not gonna learn his lesson ever. While some people likened her towering tresses to being electrocuted, others compared her to her godmother, Dolly Parton. Keep Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus away from each other. No, Dolly Parton is awesome. Miley Cyrus is wearing safety pins. And I love Dolly Parton. Like wigs, big boobs, totally nice, talks makes cake mix. I mean, Dolly Parton is awesome. Miley Cyrus, I don't I mean, you were involved with Disney for a long time. So she is her goddaughter, yeah, but look, my love for Dolly doesn't always extend to Miley Cyrus. Then, at the premiere of Dune Part 2, Florence Pugh rocked a bleached mullet and Blake Lively sported a head of perm perfect corkscrew curls at the Super Bowl, and Julianne Moore appeared in the Cut's latest cover with a head full of frizz chic brushed out curls. What You are not supposed to brush out your curls. JKD Buck, I may have spent yesterday because it was maybe the Mondayest Thursday of all times. We're gonna go to story time because why not? Oh, and he's back. But, middle daughter did not tell me that she was involved in a side-by-side tip over. Now, luckily, the parents involved it with the tip or with the side-by-side or four-wheeler or whatever made them wear helmets and the seat belts and safety stuff. But she was complaining of her arm hurting, and I said, "Okay, well, it doesn't look overly swollen, you're able to move it around, I understand that it hurts. Unfortunately, with, car things or wrecks, you generally hurt worse 2 to 3 days out. So I can give you ibuprofen, ice, then you can alternate with a heat wrap. I have lidocaine patches if you feel that you need those, all this stuff." Middle daughter goes to school, gets a sling, and then the trainer says, "You have to go get her x-rayed." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll go to the urgent care." 2 hours later, for my daughter to look at me like I am a moron for any of saying any of these things, like, "You're not a doctor." And I was like, "Okay, I only have dealt with chronic swelling and pain issues for almost 2 years, but okay, I'm not a doctor, you are right." So I take her to urgent care because I did wanna make sure that she didn't have a hairline fracture or anything. Turns out she was okay. I had to wait 2 hours for this nurse practitioner to tell my daughter, whom I am very happy that she wasn't hurt, everything that I had just told her, being at home, and my middle daughter's like, "That's a really smart idea." Y'all, I was like, "Somebody talk me down because 'cause I'm about to lose it." And then, I get her a trainer, permission slip to not have to do training and stuff like that for track because she's supposed to be resting. And she's like, I said, "Do you need to take your training paperwork into your trainer?" "Ugh, I'll get it later." Not a thank you, not a nothing. Now I do understand, look, I was a teenager, I did not think about those things, I did not think about the time that my mom invested in stuff, so I'm trying to give her all the grace, but I was like, "Child, I'm gonna lose my mind, okay?" And I come home and y'all, I had yesterday, look, I chose nonviolence yesterday. But I come home and I had, beef tips, in the slow cooker. I just told Mr. Mo, "All you need to do is cook some rice, and then there's dinner for everyone." Now, he took, like, 2 huge servings, which normally isn't a problem, but not everyone else had eaten. And I was like, "Okay, alright, we'll deal with this. I've got other stuff I can eat. I'll let everyone else have some." But then Mr. Mo decided he was just going to test the Jesus out of me. Oh, yes, my Uggs are on their way. Because Mr. Mo likes me to order everything from Amazon, and look, I just usually order everything under his name. I can put it under my name, which would solve all of these issues, but it's just one more daggone thing, and honest to goodness, if I'm going to be your social secretary and I'm the one here when the boxes come. Okay, I thought it was something that I had ordered from Amazon, apparently it was his thing, so he decided to get all snippy about, me opening one of his boxes. So I decided in light of trying to be a good wife and not choose violence, I was just going to stay in my room and have a protein shake rather than try to cook myself something else for dinner so everyone else could have beef tips and rice. Because if I would have gone back out to the kitchen, what a good, supportive, and, nice wife should have done would just be like, "Okay, fine. From now on, I'll just order things under my name. No big deal." Now, what I would have said in my current attitude was, "Well, your highness, I hope that your sister wife coming soon from, whatever country you order her from will be able to, order your crap from Amazon because 'cause I'm busy." So, there is a reason that I chose to just stay in my room. But there you go. Apparently, this looking like you just stepped off of Dynasty is is gonna be the new thing. Now, I hope that they also start smearing Vaseline on things, and is it just me, or does she have a lot of teeth? That is an interesting her smile just seems real creepy to me right in that picture, but that's because she reminds me of my mom. Y'all remember in the early '90s, so you had the hair and then these wings over here? Like, you actually it's hard to explain, but you basically, like, puffed out this side bit. Uh, so I did figure out a wish list, how to do that on, Buy My Own Coffee. Like I said, it is never expected, but, I did put the Judge Mo costume on there if anyone feels like they wanna throw a few, bucks in, but it is not necessary. I will probably be getting a judge outfit soon because, oh my gosh, do I wanna judge people and send them all to directly to the center of the sun sometimes? I mean, that doesn't look too much like a mullet to me. That just looks like a pixie, but this is nightmare fuel. Uh, I think it is up at the top if, uh I will try to get the link and put it in the description. I think Eris is still not feeling well, and she is my modly mod awesome person, but she's also human and, needs to recover. So I will try to put a link in my description or on my community page. Those poor tech, help people because I couldn't figure anything out. They were like, "Do we need to call you?" And I was like, "No, wait, I finally figured it out." So, there you go, the '80s are coming back. I tried to warn you all. This chick right here, directly into the sun, because not only look, she was a drunk driver that did a hit and run on a police officer, so regardless of how you feel about police officers, but then when the widow spoke at her sentencing, I believe this is the same chick, she basically took her time where she's supposed to address the court and say, "Hey, I'm real sorry. I this was a terrible thing and I should never have done anything. I should have stopped. I should have seen if this fellow human was okay." She took time to berate the widow, not to apologize. Now, I do believe this is the right person. If I have that wrong, I will apologize, but directly into the center of the sun, ma'am. A 35-year-old woman in New York will spend more than 2 decades behind bars for killing an NYPD officer while driving drunk without a license in a hit and run collision that occurred only a few hours after she had recorded a podcast in which she drank vodka and repeatedly disparaged the police. I mean, I don't care. Look, I say a lot of things on my YouTube channel that not everyone will agree with, so I don't care what her thoughts are about the police. But the fact that she chose to drive drunk, I have an issue with. Queens County Supreme Court Justice Michael, Alois on Wednesday ordered Jessica Buenavides to serve 27 years in a state correctional facility in the 2021 death of Detective Anastakos uh, Sakos. Look, I only watch My Greek Wedding like all the time, but I only know about Windex and, why apples and oranges are kind of the same thing and why we should all want to marry the cute guy from the movie. Her license had been suspended. She was drunk and had smoked the devil's lettuce for everyone's safety and well being, including her own. The defendant should not have been behind the wheel of a car, Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz said in a statement following the sentencing hearing. A police officer doing his job to protect others lost his life. I hope today's sentence provides at least some closure for the detective's loved ones. Oh gosh, what is the guy's name on My Big Fat Greek Wedding? The cute one. He's married to Bo Derek for some reason, which I've seen 10. I mean, I can see why, but his name escapes me, as all names do. A jury in October found uh, Buenavides guilty of one count of second-degree aggravated manslaughter and one count of vehicular manslaughter and one count of leaving a scene of an accident. Eloise sentenced her to 20 years on the aggravated manslaughter charge uh, and 2 to 7 years for leaving the scene of an accident, with the sentences running consecutively, meaning one after the other following her release. She will also be required to spend an additional 5 years on probation. According to a news release from the Queen's DA office, Sakos and his highway patrol partner on April 27th, 2021, were at the scene of a fatal accident on the eastbound side of the Long Island Expressway near the Clearview Expressway, where they were diverting traffic around the site. Uh, he was standing just beyond the roadblock at approximately 1:57 p.m. when Buenavides sped through traffic cones in a 2013 Volkswagen Passat and struck him, the release states. The impact threw him and severed his left leg at the knee. His body landed approximately 170 feet away on the highway's shoulder. That wasn't enough to prevent Buenavides from trying to flee the scene. Quote, without ever stopping, she sped away from the scene and exited the Long Island Expressway, the release continued. Police pursued her for approximately 3 miles. She eventually drove into the sidewalk in front of 2120 Horace Harding Expressway, put her car in reverse, and hit a police cruiser behind her. Officers removed Buenavides from her car, placed her under arrest. She was described as having, quote, bloodshot and watery eyes while responding to the officers with slurred speech. Did she sound like Cheryl Boone? Like, that's how you feel when I speed bump over you. John Corbett, thank you. I knew that was the name. I knew there was a name of someone. I knew he had a name. Interesting fun fact. So the real the actress who plays the lead character, her real husband is the kind of douchey Alex or Jason Alexander looking guy. It's hilarious because you're like, how did he get Nia Verdados or something? I've butchered that name. But the little short guy that's always trying to set, John Corbin up or Corbett up with, other chicks, that is her real husband. I always find that hilarious. I'm like, "Interesting." She submitted to a chemical test and had a blood alcohol content of 0.15, nearly twice the legal limit of 0.08. Unfortunately, the officer, even though he was rushed to the hospital, if you lose a limb, and especially close to the femur, which, is a sort of re a storage place for a lot of the body's blood, e unfortunately, unless there is a doctor right there, you are probably going to pass away. During Wednesday's hearings, the victim's wife, Irene Sakos or Takos, look, I don't know how to read Greek. It's all Greek to me. Read an emotional victim impact statement that referenced the podcast Buena Vias recorded prior to the fatal collision. Quote, she made a podcast hours before killing my husband for the world to hear, said Irene, per the report from Newsweek or Newsday. I heard it too. And I want to say that you can't think, speak, and spread hate out into the world and expect good things to happen to you. You cannot wish harm on people and influence others to do harm and expect good things in return. Uh, Buena Vias' 2-hour podcast centered around the trial of Derek Chauvin. Yeah, so basically, this chick then responded, and I don't think they've put it up here because Law and Crime tends to try to not be, well, they don't tell the full truth, but I'm sorry, guys. What I will do is say that I will try to find, this chick's response to the wife, because what I have read in other snippets is that she took her, time where she is supposed to be contrite and maybe throw herself upon the mercy of the court to go after the victim's widow, and no. And then Flash fan, I am doing okay, I hope you are doing well. AT&T reveals possible cause of massive cellular outage in the US, which also hit T-Mobile and Verizon users. Is it space nukes? Excuse me. A major cell phone outage affected users across the US early Thursday, even stopping some police departments from being able to receive 911 calls. AT&T seemed to have experienced the largest numbers of issues with nearly 32,000 reports around 4:30 a.m. according to the data from Down Detector, which tracks outages by collecting status reports from sources including user submitted errors on its platform. More than 800 service outages were reported on T-Mobile and Verizon, although a spokesperson for the latter put it down to users reporting problems trying to call people with other services. It took more than 13 hours for AT&T to resolve the issue, which the company chalked up to a system overwhelm. Quote, based on our initial review, we believe that today's outage was caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used as we are expanding our network, not a cyber attack. I thought it was solar flares. Y'all need to tell me what I'm supposed to believe, conspiracity wise. We are continuing our assessment of today's outage to ensure that we keep delivering service that our customers deserve. If you're doing an upgrade and it's a downgrade, is it really an upgrade? Also, who all is using their phones at 4 a.m.? I thought I was the only weirdo that woke up at 4 a.m., to start looking at. Fry, this isn't going to end well for you. I understand that the cat's tail is wagging. Cats will attack with their tails wagging. Others reported issues on smaller carriers, including Boost Mobile, Consumer Cellular, Straight Talk Wireless, and Cricket Wireless, the latter of which is owned by AT&T. The problems extended from New York, Boston, and Atlanta on the East Coast to Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Francisco, even to Montreal in Canada. Several police stations throughout the country even warned that people might be unable to call to report emergencies. However, many AT&T users said that they were stuck in SOS mode, which means they could only reach emergency services. A spokesperson for AT&T encouraged users to rely on Wi-Fi calling as it worked, quote, urgently to restore service. A spokes Oh, yeah. And then by 11:30 a.m., the company announced that three-quarters of its network had been restored. Full service was restored at 2:15 p.m. Okay, guys, it's an announcement. I was trying to reroute the entire world's modem, and I it was screwing up, and, I unplugged it for about 10 seconds, and then it totally re-uploaded wrong. It was me. Well, Squall Bob, we are in the middle or nearing the end of a solar maximum cycle, so we did have a huge solar flare. I'm just thinking it was a combination of things, but it it's just this is why I wish the 24-hour news cycle has meant that journalists don't wait for facts, they run with whatever harebrained stories, come out first just to be the first to put out a story. We sincerely apologize to our customers. Keeping our customers connected maintains our remains our top priority. Well, it's literally your only marketable skill, AT&T. I mean, that's the whole thing you're selling. Taking steps to ensure our customers do not experience it again in the future. The Federal Communications Commission said it's investigating the incident, while the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said it was working with AT&T to understand the cause. White House spokesperson John Kirby said the FBI and head of Homeland Security were looking into the AT&T outage. Well, that'll mean that nothing's going to get solved. Allegedly. But there was no reason to believe it was connected to a cyber attack. Well, there you go. On Verizon and T-Mobile, spokesperson told the Post that their networks were operating normally. They suggested the issues only arose when customers tried to call or text those using AT&T, with a spokesperson from T-Mobile claiming, quote, "Down detector is likely reflecting challenges our customers were having attempting to connect with users on other networks." Hello, Zach. Welcome. The spokesperson from Verizon added that its customers, quote, experienced issues this morning when calling or texting. So, AT&T, I'm looking at you, Ma Bell. Now, I'm going to need this as a story time. This trial, God bless you, Florida. I want to cover this trial whenever it happens. F in the back seat. Two arrested after a Smexy rendezvous leads to murder carjacking. Florida cops say. Well, I mean, I guess if you wanna have Smeks in a back seat and you don't have a car, there are there are a couple of things that need to happen. A man and a woman are behind bars after allegedly concocting a plan where she set up a Smexy time rendezvous with a man, and then they murdered him and stole his car, according to Florida cops. Michael Renee Montgomery Jr., 47, and Jessica Long, uh, 37, were arrested on Wednesday and charged with homicide murder while engaged in robbery, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said in a press release. A passerby called deputies shortly after 6:30 p.m. on June 27th after seeing a dead person on the side of the road near Ocala. The person was later identified as 40-year-old Wayne Barlow. Deputies noticed his body was wedged against some vines and a tree, and his shorts and underwear were around his ankles. They had to leave his twig and berries out. They just couldn't have had dignity for him. Just awful. He'd been shot in the head and had several injuries, including defensive wounds, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit. Did I say Ocala right, or is it Ocala? It's interesting. Hey, Joe. Just asking for a friend. Barlow still had his wallet with his driver's license on him, and deputies talked to his roommate. The roommate told deputies Barlow planned to meet with a woman on June 26th. Barlow later told the roommate that he was upset that the woman had taken his car and not given it back. On June 28th, deputies tracked down the vehicle and tried to conduct a traffic stop, but the driver took off. Deputies began chasing the vehicle, which drove off into a heavily wooded area. They found the vehicle abandoned. About 25 minutes later, authorities found Montgomery hiding in the water and Long hiding in a tree, according to the affidavit. Aha, wonderful. Okay, so it's Ocala. Then why didn't they make it a K? I love English. This is why it was so hard for me to learn spelling because you would have these little tricks like I before E except after C, except for these 173 different words that don't follow that, but you have to remember them. I was like, this is like math. Montgomery told deputies Long showed up in Barlow's vehicle the night of the murder. He said he and another man planned to rob Barlow while he was, well, doing the deed with Long, the affidavit said. After the meetup in a secluded area, Montgomery said he and the other suspect attacked Barlow and tied him down with a bike lock, according to the affidavit. The men roughed up Barlow before forcing him into the back seat and driving to the location where the unaliving took place. According to Montgomery, the suspects were surprised Barlow fought back so hard. As they were fighting, Long gave him her force multiplier and he shot Barlow in the head. Montgomery told the detective he claimed he was defending himself but had no injuries. Yeah, that's going to be a little difficult, sir. Text messages between Barlow and Montgomery confirmed they were meeting up for the Smexy time. Barlow said he wanted to be in the car with Long alone. Can we drop them off for like 20, then F in the back seat and smoke? Well, I mean, 20 minutes is, I mean, I guess that gives you 10 minutes and then rest and relax time, Barlow reportedly texted. Long immediately responded, Heck yeah, that's the plan, duh. Montgomery and Long are at the Marion County Jail without bond. Men, don't meet weird women for the smexy time in the forest. If they bring like two strongly muscled guys with them, just no. In good news, a miracle preemie who developed a rare deadly heart condition celebrates his first birthday. Of course, the good video can't be played. What the heck? Do better, New York Times. A miracle UK baby who was born 4 months early, weighing the same as a loaf of bread, has beaten incredible odds to celebrate his first birthday. Arlie James Hughes was so small he had to be kept in a sandwich bag shortly after birth to mimic being inside his mom's womb. Entering the world at just 1 pound, he spent 153 days in the hospital as he battled a rare heart condition. Doctors were so worried that they told mom Naomi Walker and her partner Chris Hughes, 40 or 34, to make funeral plans. Quote, Arlie has survived everything that's been thrown at him. He's a miracle, Walker shared to SWNS. The smiley tot is still on oxygen, but is growing stronger by the day thanks to an experimental drug. Look at that cute little and the cheekies. Aww. On Tuesday, Arlie James celebrated his first birthday in Morecambe, England. I count my blessings every day, said Walker, a cleaner who turns 36 this week. I know he's got a long way to go. He still needs support with breathing at the minute, but I'm amazed at his incredible strength. Walker's pregnancy had been fairly uneventful until she was admitted to the hospital a year ago with a urine condition and a chest infection. I don't know if they mean urine or uterine, but urine. After being transferred to another hospital, she realized that Arlie James was making his entrance 4 months earlier than anticipated. Quote, when I was on the toilet, I felt pressure drop down, Walker recalled. It was very scary, and instantly I knew at that moment, Jesus, he's coming. And they have him in little suspenders. Oh my gosh. I I need suspenders. I look, well, I'm trying to get them to come back on but the cat and Fry have decided they're going to be friends in Fry's little den area on the other side of the bed because you just can't have nice things. Arlie means promise in Hebrew. Walker said she gave Arlie James a little cuddle and then he was off to the intensive care unit, his home for more than 5 months. Arlie James suffered infections and was given blood transfusion fusions and put on a ventilator. Just when he seemed to have turned the corner, he was diagnosed with a deadly heart condition, fungal endocarditis at fungal, not fungal. Reading is fundamental. At 4 weeks old, doctors came in and said there was nothing more we can do for him, basically make funeral arrangements, Walker remembered. It just floored me. I ran out of the neonatal unit. It was possibly the worst news of my life. Mortality rates for the debilitating disease, which is an inflammation of the innermost lining of the heart, range from 10% to 75%. Well, in fungal, I thought, well, in medical terminology, you would use the Latin word for fungus, which I think is it's escaping me now, but it starts with an M. So I guess that's just the inner lining word. Uh, Arlie James' condition improved, however, after he received an unidentified trial drug. A consultant came in and said, "We've got this drug. It's still pretty much in the trial process. Do you want to try it?" Walker recounted. I said, "What have I got to lose? You're telling me I need to make funeral arrangements, or I can try a drug that will possibly save its life." Walker, who never left Arlie James' side during his time in the hospital, believes the sound of her voice and her touch might have kept him going through his most difficult days. I believe it. She took him home on July 23rd, 2023. He still has chronic lung disease, but was able to spend his birthday on Tuesday eating cupcakes with his family. He's just the most loving, happy baby anyone can meet, Walker gushed. For someone who weighed 500 grams to put up the fight he has and be so happy and smiley throughout all of it, there are no words to describe how proud and amazed I am. Aw. I remember when my feral children were small. I never put them in suspenders. Now I wanted to go back. Look, first male grandchild I have, suspenders. "Mom, why are you buying all these suspenders?" "Well, I forgot to do that with you, and I'm going to have this child dressed up like a young salesman." In sad news, Wendy Williams is diagnosed with dementia and aphasia, but she maintains her trademark sense of humor. Former talk show host Wendy Williams was diagnosed last year with primary aggressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, her care team revealed on Thursday. Aphasia affects language and communication abilities, while frontal temporal dementia, or FTD, a progressive disorder, impacts behavior and cognitive functions. Hollywood superstar Bruce Willis is battling the same two medical issues. He retired from acting in 2022 due to his aphasia and was diagnosed with FTD in 2023. The news about Williams, 59, uh, follows on the heels of the People report that her family does not know which facility she's being treated in and that they speak to her only when she calls them. Williams is the subject of an upcoming Lifetime docuseries, Where is Wendy Williams, airing over 2 nights, February 24th and 25th. Quote, on behalf of Wendy Williams Hunter, her care team is sharing this very personal update with her cherished fans, friends, and supporters to correct inaccurate and hurtful rumors about her health, read a statement released Thursday morning. As Wendy's fans are aware, in the past she has been open with the public about her medical struggles with Graves' disease and lymphedema. No, that's no, that is, as well as other significant challenges related to her health, it continued. Over the past few years, questions have been raised at times about Wendy's ability to process information, and many have speculated about Wendy's condition, particularly when she began to lose words, act erratically at times, and have difficulty understanding financial transactions. In 2023, after undergoing a battery of medical tests, Wendy was officially diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and FTD. They have already presented significant hurdles in Wendy's life. Wendy's shot to radio stardom, or Williams shot to radio stardom and hosted the Wendy Williams Show, a popular daytime talk show from 2008 until she left in 2022 on the heels of her erratic behavior and medical diagnosis of lymphedema and Graves' disease. She did not host her show in its final season due to her condition. She was succeeded by former The View co-host Sherry Shepherd, who hosts Sherry, which airs on WNYW Channel 5 in New York. Well, good plug for I sometimes I can't explain what Fry does. Let's see. Wendy would not have received confirmation of these diagnoses if it were not for the diligence of her current care team, who she chose, and the extraordinary work of specialists at Weill Cornell Medicine, the statement continued. Receiving a diagnosis has enabled Wendy to receive medical care that she requires. The decision to share this news was difficult and made after careful consideration, not only to advocate for understanding and compassion for Wendy, but to raise awareness about aphasia and FTD and support the thousands of others facing similar circumstances. Williams' care team continued. Unfortunately, many individuals diagnosed with aphasia and FTD face stigma and misunderstanding, particularly when they begin to exhibit behavior changes but have not received a diagnosis. There is hope that with early detection and far more empathy, the stigma associated with dementia will be eliminated. Well, to be fair to people from the outside, unfortunately, dementia can mimic addiction, you know, a lot of other personal choice, behaviors that could indicate that maybe you're making poor life decisions rather than having a medical thing. So, had they come out with this diagnosis prior or earlier, there wouldn't have been, well, maybe she's drunk or maybe she's high or maybe she's just a little cray cray. So by hiding this, you've kind of set her up for failure, but that's just my opinion. Williams' care team noted that she is still able to do many things for herself and that she maintains her trademark sense of humor while receiving the care she requires to make sure she's protected and her needs are addressed. She's appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way, they said. So, if you guys would like to see the Wendy Williams 2024 documentary, it will be on Philo or DirecTV or Sling TV Blue or Hulu or Lifetime, whichever you would like to watch this. And oh my goodness, I want to see these people's faces. I want this to be streaming. I would watch the heck out of this as a show. So we should be going live at noon, I do believe, because that is when Vices is supposed to be getting done with his it's either he's on Maritime or Grifting. I can't remember which he's on right now, but we're planning on starting up as Vices was leaving or going off line. That was the intent. A tech genius turns the tables on internet scammers and exposes them on camera after posing as a vulnerable grandma. Sweetie, you are talking to the person that can't remember names because my brain gets all fuzzy. So it's no, it's F It Friday. Sorry. I thought he did those at night. Maybe he does and I'm just not paying attention. I think Nick is doing, Young Thug maybe review. I'm pretty sure. Let me remember myself because Lord knows. Oh, no. I'll be joining him when I'm done here. My brain is not too smart today. Like I said, a whole week without a whole lot of sleep, and then the one medicine that the doctor says, "No, this'll help you sleep," just makes you super tired and kind of fuzzy, which can be it. So this will be our last story because my brain so, Becca Lynn, don't listen to me. I am so sorry, Jude. I My mother-in-law kind of went with into a similar thing, and, Mr. Mo's stepfather passed away, and he just went downhill so quickly, and it was so hard to see him struggle because he was so fastidious and, very type A, and to see him deteriorate and the strain that it put on his mom and, to have this person kind of leave you before they leave you, it was terribly sad. So, I am so sorry, Jude. That is no fun to deal with. An all too familiar experience when you get a call from a customer service agent with frightening news. Thousands of dollars in questionable charges have been linked to your account. The agent, with a seemingly foreign accent and convincing details about your life, including part of your social security number, home address, and more, urges you to go to your bank, withdraw a fortune, and deliver the funds to a nearby address or waiting car. Either you next hand over $10,000 or you realize you've been scammed or you wise up to the ruse and thank your lucky stars for the near miss. Oh, the quad screen of douchebaggery. But one YouTube content creator is taking a different tack. He poses as a vulnerable grandmother before turning the table on the scammers, taking over their computers and revealing their faces, locations, and tactics to the world in a move being compared to digital Robin Hood. He is delivering results against a crime spree targeting more and more Americans with hoax calls and fake emails, often from thousands of miles away and carried out by groups that think they are beyond the reach of the law. The AARP warned last year that Americans over 60 were fleeced out of $28.3 billion every year, with just 1 in 10 of the scams being reported to authorities. It's not just seniors either. New York financial columnist Charlotte Cowles, 39, confessed last week that she handed over $50,000 in a shoebox to a stranger after scammers convinced her that they were successively from Amazon, the Federal Trade Commission, and the CIA. She was both under suspicion of money laundering and in danger. Giving them the cash would help save her, she believed. The scammers and her money are now long gone, leaving her, she wrote, in shock and embarrassed for allowing herself to be financially and emotionally used. So little wonder that a scam baiting exploits of Nell Harris, which combine expose and humor, have become a YouTube hit. Neld is a pseudonym for content creator behind Scam Sandwich YouTube channel. He's an apparent 30-something man who has declined to share his real identity with the Post out of concerns for his safety. He poses as Neld, an 80-year-old tech-illiterate widow from Dallas. I resemble some of those things, who plays along with the elaborate scammer's attempt to take over her computer, install malware, and convince her to give them money. The cover story is intentional. The AARP warns that elderly Americans living alone are particularly vulnerable to scammers. Neld's popular YouTube channel, Scam Sandwich, contains dozens of his Scam the Scammer videos that have more than 8 million views and generated tens of thousands of subscribers since he went online in January 2023. One video last November went viral with more than 1 million views. Quote, I make surrealist phone calls to scammers to bait them into ridiculous situations by using voice mods, voice altering software, fake banks, and fake gift card redeems. Either he finds the scammers by Googling phrases like Zelle support and calling their 1-800 numbers, or sometimes they contact Neld thinking they're targeting a defenseless grandma. In Neld's videos, he's often asked by scammers to go to CVS or Walmart, purchase gift cards worth thousands of dollars, which he fakes doing and sending. The gift card scam is a popular practice by online thieves. He's often seen keeping the scammers, mostly computer savvy Indian con artists in their 20s and 30s who work with detailed scripts, online for hours at a time, playing along with their scams and driving them bananas as he responds slowly and stupidly to their demands. The scammers pretend to be American or Hispanic with names such as Thomas Wayne and Brian Collins to match. They have to listen to his meandering, sometimes surreal monologues. Quote, he's worn down some to the point of tears, swearing they'll give up their criminality and go straight if he'll leave them alone, Neld said to an insider on at the Post. But that usually happens only after he's actually hacked their computers and downloaded or destroyed all of their data by installing a very dangerous computer virus on the scammer's computer, gained control of their webcams, and live stream video of them to the world, embarrassing them publicly and threatening to contact their innocent families, revealing their criminal acts. I love this dude. I think I'll be watching these things on a loop. He's brilliant and has a truly dark sense of humor, continued the source. While he won't discuss it, he does report some of his investigation to the authorities in the US and India in hopes that they will actually do arrest. Often the table turning exercise culminates in taking over the scammer's webcam and Neld revealing that she knows precisely where they're working from, frequently in Indian cities, sometimes in West African country. Neld reveals that he can see their group chats, even in one case, a scammer sliding into a woman's DM, and shows them he knows precisely where they're working from before unleashing powerful viruses on their computers and ruining their ability to scam people. This is the face of someone who just realized he got scammed. The scammer got scammed. Despite or their responses include shock, often torrents of invectives, sometimes slipping into Hindi or Punjabi, despite having claimed to be Americans with names like Brian Smith. FBI efforts to target scammers overseas have borne some fruit, with one Indian mastermind currently serving 20 years in federal prison. So I may start watching this on a loop, y'all, because as a person who has no computer skills, I'm just telling you, the fact that we have, someone out there that's turning the tables back on these people, I'm here for it. Fry's like, "I is asleep for it. Today has been exhausting." Squawbub, I'll have to make Fry some oatmeal peanut butter dog treats today. But yeah, so, just make sure because Mr. Mo's mom will call and say, "I got this call from the FBI." And I said, and Mr. Mo has had to talk her down. He's had to talk me down because they do know certain information that you wouldn't think people other than, real feds would know. But as we know about Farrell, who claims she's not a real fed, apparently if you have sufficient computer skills, you can find these things out. So, justice for the little guy. I am actually going to go in and edit my video so we go to Delphi stuff instead of Vices because my brain was a no-go this morning, allegedly. I mean, not that it's different than any morning, but I will be sending you over there. I am going to well, Fry's asleep, so I will just head on over there as soon as I pop off with you guys. Oh, wow. I'll have to I'll have to look at that too. Let me write that down. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend, and I will see you guys over with Nick very shortly. Bye, guys.